thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, and as always, we have our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells, with us.
Everybody.
What is up? What is up? We got a great show today. Special guest, Mr. Big SMO.
Yes, or just Smo.
Or just SMO.
Yeah, whatever you want to call me, really. So
it's been a long time since we first met.
Yeah,
and we really just kind of met in passing a couple of different times at some shows, this, that, and the other. So I don't know you as well as I probably will after this show, but I'm super excited that you decided to come hang out with us for a little while.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
And
you're very
timing
welcome.
is everything. It was probably a terrible time for us to meet at that moment in my journey, at least. And now you are going to get the best version of Smo that there's ever been. So
absolutely love it.
Thank the universe for that.
I love it. Yeah. Well, why don't you give us about 30, 60 seconds, tell everybody who you are and what you do in a synopsis, and then we will dive into the 20 years ago to today.
Fantastic. Well, I'm Smo, also known as Big SMO. That change in name is because I've over the past 10 years lost over 225 pounds. So for anybody that didn't know me before, I go from a bigger version to now this version, a very happier, healthier version. I've been doing country, rap, hip hop, rock blend for over 25 years now. And I've watched this genre be created and then grow and then now almost overgrow. Like we need to get the weed eater out, man. No, it's been awesome, like to watch a genre like create in music, you know, like because you don't see that often. Like it happens, but it's rare. But I was a part of that, and I like where it's going. I like the future of it, man. It's good.
Now, if we go back to early 2000s, right? That's when you were kind of on the rise.
Yeah, I'd say 2002 is when I released my first album called Country Kitchen. And that was like, you know, this is before the internet was what the internet is now. So you had the internet, but you didn't have the ability to be what you are today on the internet. So MySpace, I think, was the tool. YouTube had just come about, and we were still recording music on a cassette, like an 8-track tape deck recorder. So this was before CDs in my era. And then, of course, I got to watch the whole evolution, you know, for going from tape to CD to digital. So, and then now back to vinyl. Oddly enough.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So I'm imagining
that vinyl game is weird.
Cassette tapes are going to come back.
I don't know about that. Easy now. At least with vinyl, you have some authenticity there.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's the cassette tape, you know.
And I'm a vinyl
chew
guy.
that tape up and it's done.
Yeah, you got to get rid of it.
So,
but I'm a vinyl guy too. It doesn't hurt my feelings to see it come back around. But yeah, man, it's been quite a journey from the early 2000s to now. You know, with where I started and. Of course, being an independent artist for about 10 to 12 years before signing my deal with Warner Brothers here in Nashville. And I was with Warner Nashville for probably the better of 5-6 years before and then I left from there to go back to being independent. And then I've just kind of, you know, it's like my version of gambling because I don't go to casinos. Like the music industry is like, it's a different kind of casino.
Yes.
Like it's a gamble, you know what I'm saying? Like it's going to cost you money.
Yep.
You could win. There's going to be like, you're going to have to work the table. You're going to have to know how to play the game. You may even have to consult a couple of people on the best way to play the game. But you know, like it's at the end of the day, it's like betting red or black, you know, like you'll win or you won't. And you'll either keep playing or you'll leave and you'll do something else. So
now you had a pretty good music career.
Oh yeah, I still do. Oddly enough,
You're still recording today,
I'm
right?
Still recording.
Don't you have an album coming out pretty soon?
I've got an album that we're going to drop next year in February. I'm just going to save this, and I'm not going to call it my last album. My wife will get mad if I do. She still wants me to do a Christmas album. Bless her soul.
Oh, Lord.
So, but I do plan on releasing an album on my 50th birthday next year. So I just turned 49 on Valentine's Day. And so next year, February 14th, which I think lands on a Friday. No, this year was a Friday. So I don't know. We're going to drop, it'll be next year on my 50th that we'll drop an album.
Okay.
So I'll be working on it. I've already started working on it. Got a lot of songs written, a few songs recorded. I got great people that I work with. You know, the comfortable part is that I don't have to put out an album.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of like the goal that you want to get to, is where you really don't have to do this anymore. You just do it if you want to, if you love it.
Because you enjoy it.
Because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you've got fans that want more, you always want to make people happy by giving them, you know, your art and what you're passionate about. So I think the combination of those things are going to push me to put this album out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So now you are a quote unquote Nashville native. Not necessarily Nashville, Bedford County, Shelbyville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the same area. I grew up in Bell Buckle, in Murfreesboro. My grandfather's farm was in Bell Buckle. So I spent a lot of time in Shelbyville. So from a local standpoint, how much have you seen in for the people that are not from Nashville in the area, how much has the music scene changed from when you started back in the early 2000s in 2002 and dropped that first album, right? When we were when we're standing out in front of BB King's and selling CDs out of the trunk of cars, right? And you got people like yourself and Jelly Roll and Stack and all the boys. We're all sitting there hanging out and we're peddling them tapes, right? Yeah. To what it is today. You mentioned the change in how we promote things and how we get the word out, where, you know, what it would have been like if we would have had YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all the different podcast platforms to come on, right?
All these things that people have now.
So do you think it's easier?
Way easier.
So what do you think makes it easier?
The tools, like the accessibility to the tools, the affordability of the tools. Remember what a Triton used to cost? You know, just to be able to have a keyboard. And it wasn't even like, you know, we didn't even understand MIDI at that point. We were still using the onboard sounds and stuff. But like a Yamaha Motif, those are expensive. And if you don't, first of all, we didn't even have money. Like, we were just broke. We were drug addicts. You know, we were broke, and we were just kids, really, like young adult kids. And we just wanted to make, like, I wanted to make music more for therapeutic reasons. I needed something to keep me out of trouble. And music was one of those things where I could express myself and have fun doing it, and it kept me busy. And then that turned into people enjoying the music that I created. And then I was like, well, if I've got something people want to hear, I'll just keep making it and we'll see what happens. And then, I mean, I can't even imagine it ever turning into what it has. This was never the goal. So that's a big difference, because today it's like the goal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like people that they don't even have that desire for art or anything. It's like they just want to be famous. They just want to have numbers. They just want to be what they think they want to be, because society is just so distracted from reality that we've created this facade around like fame and likes and numbers and like still the dollar. Like, I tell people all the time, it doesn't even matter how much money you have if you're not happy. So like, people are missing the real point out here, and it's not, you know, we've always heard quality over quantity. It's the same thing with life. Like, it's quality of life over the quantity of money, of numbers, of likes, of friends, of all that stuff. And I know a lot of people that are doing really well financially, but they're sad as hell. So, and they're not healthy. So at the end of the day, you know, I learned that myself. I only say these things from experience because at my most successful moment in life, whenever I was doing like the TV show and stuff, and I had the TV show and the Warner Brothers deal and the tour and the big band and all the things, you know, and you're seeing me on TV and all this stuff. That was the most unhappiest moment of my life. So what did all of it even at the time? You know, like, the only point that it served was for me to sit here now and reflect and be like, man, been a lot cooler if I was if I was this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what life is. It's a journey that, you know, it has its own way.
You mentioned that it's easier today.
Absolutely.
But because it's easier, you get just your competition, if you will. Just the market's flooded, right?
Saturated.
Saturated. Great word.
Yep.
And so with a saturated market, and to piggyback on what you said, everybody just wants to get famous. So you don't have an authentic persona, an authentic personality. Some of these people don't even know who self is.
Right.
What do you do to stand out while being authentic or true to self in a saturated market that is saying, hey, I've got a million podcasts. I've got, you know, everybody's a SoundCloud rapper or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. What makes you stand out when you have to get authenticity versus saturated market?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of reality, but
Please
luck,
do.
Luck, okay.
Luck, money, luck and money. Probably money and then luck, right?
Okay.
Because money can always buy your way into the door. Luck will get you there. Unfortunately, talent doesn't get you through the door.
Right.
You have to have, like, there's a lot, even in a saturated market, right? Because we as humans, we're smart, especially if we put our minds to it.
Sure.
And it's not hard to rhyme words, and it's not hard to listen to decades of influence and say and mimic and blueprint copy type things. It's not hard to make it happen. I could take somebody that knows nothing about rap, and I could make them a rapper by the end of the day. At least we could record a record. I guarantee you. So it's not hard to produce these things.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the difference today, is that the production is, I mean, look around. You know, we would have, at one point in the upcoming of my career, it would have been one microphone that we passed around, and it would have been a handy cam. And then we would have had to film it.
The
on
Sony Handycam.
Yeah,
there's
had to
people
film
right
it
now. What the hell are they talking
on
about?
that
man?
little tape.
Yeah.
And then we would have had to dump it. Like, it would have been a nightmare.
Right.
So it would have been like next week before you saw what we did today. And like today, it's just so fast. And like, even though it is oversaturated, there's a lot of talent there. So you have to be willing to, now, if you want to maintain the integrity of your brand, then, you know, you're kind of you still have to pay. Unfortunately, it's a pay to play world.
Yeah.
So they get you with the algorithm is what it is. That's the gatekeeper of fame, right? It's this AI algorithm, and you have to, it's like the toll master, you know? And it doesn't matter how talented you are. You take my Facebook, for instance, 500,000 followers on my Facebook. If I want to make a post, I'll never be able to reach those 500,000 people, even though I have 500,000 followers.
Right.
I'll probably, on a really well thought out post that doesn't cross any of their guidelines of letting it share openly, I'll reach about 1 to 3% of that 500,000.
Wow.
Without paying for ads.
Okay.
Now, if I pay for ads, they're going to open up that door a little bit more, you know, and it's like, how much are you willing to pay to promote this post, to open it up to your already followers, you know? And this is why I have, a lot of people don't even know that I still exist. So when they see me and they see me now, they're like, whoa, what happened to him? And I'm like, I've been sharing this for a decade. Well, I haven't seen you.
Right.
And I'm like, how can you not see me? I make posts every day, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day on socials. And it's because the algorithm's just not sharing it with me,
Right.
you know? And I'm sure it has multiple reasons. Probably lifestyle content. There's no nakedness in what I share, so it gets buried as well. Like I feel sorry for women nowadays. Like they have to get almost naked to sell something.
I was scrolling my Instagram the other day, and it'll suggest reels for you and stuff like that. And I took exception because one of them was a lady who had multiple accounts, but every suggestion was her. And I thought, how do you get to that promotion level? And I assumed she had paid to be at that point. But when that's the only face you see as a suggested, level, and I was like, my goodness. And I'd heard some students not too long ago talking about a kid spent like $3 or $4 and he bought like 500 followers.
Yeah.
And that I don't know why my little simple self just thought it's all organic, right?
Yeah, no,
you meet somebody face to face, you follow them, they help you because they promote it and they follow. And
if you want to get real people.
Right.
Yeah. And if you want to get people inside this country.
Now, if you want bots.
Now, you can get bots and spam and people from, Venezuela and Argentina.
Yeah. I've only at one point did I let a guy take my Instagram. And he had hit me up and he was like, hey, I do marketing and promotion and stuff. Let me help you with your Instagram. And I was like, okay, because I was new to Instagram, didn't have a lot of followers. And so what he did is he wound up, it was real weird. It's like a back end analytic thing where he would put my stories, share my stories to like a whole list of people. And then they would either watch it or not, and then follow me or not. And anyway, long term, it just wound up letting so much filth into my Instagram. Yeah. This is why I'm not on social media. Anybody that's listening, I do not run my socials. My wife runs my socials. I turned that over to her like over 3 years ago because of the content.
Sure.
Every time I'd open the gram, it would be porn.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, I don't follow this.
It's literally in your face all the time.
So I can't, I had to remove pornography completely from my life, which is a story that ties to me becoming overweight when I was a child and that I didn't figure out until a therapy session later in life. But neither here nor there at this point. I removed pornography from my life, which meant that I had to remove social media.
Okay.
And then I turned it over to my wife because what better person to trust with all the filth that comes into your life than your wife,
right?
And I let her be the gatekeeper of that. And that's when life for me got so much better.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot tell you how unhealthy social media is.
Yeah. Well, I've done just enough research to be able to talk about it, but they talk about literally the dopamine dump that your brain gets from it. And I've watched, and I've shared this with Charlie before, I've literally seen people close out an app, swipe down, swipe up, come back and click on the same app. And it's that they just get stuck in that. And there's a lot to it. Now, the flip side of that is there are beautiful benefits to social media.
Yes.
Whether it's promoting a podcast, promoting a business, promoting a sale page, whatever it is, there are beautiful elements to it. And I think that just for a lot of people, it's a lot of info. And it's a lot at their hands that they don't realize what's fully there.
Yeah, and there's so much scams.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, I'm going to share this with you. I just got scammed.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to hear about Big SMO's scam as soon as we come back. Give us just 1 second. What's going on, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the owner of Single Tree Barbecue, located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 2805 Old Fort Parkway. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 to 3. If you want some smoked wings all the way to some Texas-style smoked brisket, y'all come see us. We have some amazing lunch specials during the week and outstanding barbecue right here in the Middle Tennessee area. We can't wait to see you guys. Welcome back, guys. We are diving into social media and how awful social media is.
It's got its benefits.
Now, it's funny. It's funny from the guy that promotes social media like crazy to say that it's awful. Okay.
It's necessary evil.
It's an incredibly necessary evil in today's world. If you don't want to spend a ton of money and you want to try to promote things and you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to be authentic and be organically in the world, then you have to use it.
And you have to learn to weed through
and you got to figure out how to use it and not get stuck in the buying followers and, promoting this or that, or, boosting posts. And it's funny because my wife said to me not too long ago, hey, did you see that thing I sent you on Instagram? And I said, no. And she said, well, I sent it to you. And I pulled up my Instagram and there was nothing on there. She didn't send me anything. Huh. And then I realized I'm never on my Instagram. I'm always on my restaurant's Instagram. Right. I'm always posting and taking videos and doing stuff on my restaurant, on my business page. Yeah. But I'm, if it's not Single Tree Barbecue, I'm not on there. So I went back and looked. I had 12 messages from my wife that
you had never
even looked at. And I was like, I'm sorry, honey. I didn't know I wasn't trying to, what did I say, leave you on red now?
Yeah.
So
me and my wife, we at least have got this habit of, like, if we're in the room, we'll just turn and show each other, right? Like, don't share it and send, like, hey, look, if we, and it's funny enough, she has sent me something while we're sitting here talking.
It's hilarious.
And I probably will forget about it before this thing's over. And then when I get home or tomorrow, this weekend, hey, you never looked at that. Yeah, you're right. So
check it out.
Let's hear about this.
I want to hear about the scam.
I got to hear about Smo getting scammed.
All right, I'm going to give you two examples. One's really good and one's really sad. I just recently, just this last week, got an email from Jim Brewer.
Okay.
Yeah, the comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, his podcast team that wanted to do a podcast and everything on the email that my wife should be dealing with, but I get it on my phone. And I was like, I just saw it come through. I was like, oh, Jim Brewer, let me click on that. And I was like, oh, they want to do a podcast. I respond. I was like, hell yeah, let's make it happen. And then she's like, did you respond to email? And I'm like, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I did. And she's like, don't do that. I'm like, okay, my bad. Well, it's just a podcast. Well, it could be a scam. I was like, I don't think it would be a scam. It's just a podcast. It's not asking me for anything. So anyway, we get another email and they're like, yeah, we need you to log in and do a test thing on Zoom just to make sure everything works good. And then we'll do the podcast later in the week. So I'm sitting there waiting, got my computer and everything. I click on the link and it's like for Zoom, and it's like I had to download the update for Zoom or whatever. So I'm sitting there doing that, and then it comes up and I'm like, hello? Yes, is this Big SMO? And I was like, click. My wife said, you better hang that up. I said, I already did. Is this Big SMO? I was like, yeah, that ain't Jim Brewer's crew right there. I promise
look, Jim Brewer's crew and team, when you're ready, Smo would love to be on your show.
I was excited about it, man. I had blocked out like the time and everything, which it sucks because this has happened to someone because of me. I have been the Jim Brewer in the story. So this is how you know you've made it. If you have fake pages. So do you have your single
No, I don't have fake pages yet. I'm not there.
Okay.
I'm not there
yet.
When
you have like single tree for life.
The best I've had so far is people come up to me now and are now saying, hey, don't you know that guy Derry on the Single Tree Nation podcast?
Right.
So that makes me excited.
Hang on.
Okay.
I get happy about that.
It happened one time in Murfreesboro at a parking lot. This is not count.
There's still a lot to stand on. Yeah.
Hey, I get to stand next to him.
I did say, or it have happened to me, a guy came up. I was at my daughter's little after school festival not too long ago, and a guy that I haven't talked to in a real long time, he comes up. and I get this arm across my shoulder, and I've got my back to
Those are
the
the
crowd,
best.
which is the weird part because I would never sit with my back to the crowd.
Right.
And my daughter, it was just, it's not my, I'm like,
Right.
And this arm gets on my shoulder, and as I'm trying to turn around, how's my favorite podcaster? I was like, whatever. Immediately, I don't take this person serious. I was like, you're a liar. Turn around. It's a buddy I went to high school with. And I
Right.
was like, screw you. So it was
Good though, man.
outstanding.
It is because
Recognition.
you
It's
don't.
outstanding.
So this is when you know you've made it. All right, I'm at a show. I'm somewhere. I'm in East Tennessee, somewhere, and we're doing sound check, and it's with my whole band. And this guy comes in, and he's just kind of like lingering around. And sound check, no one's in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Except
yeah.
for the bar owner and whoever staff. So, and my crew. So we're in there doing our thing, and this guy's just kind of like walking back and forth, and he's watching me. And I was like, the hell is it? Who is this? And we're doing a song, and he comes up to the stage. He's like, hey, what's up, Smo? He's like, just letting you know I'm here. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't know who you are. And we do another song, sound check, another song, sound check. We're good. I come off the stage, and he comes up to me. He said, hey, man, just want to let you know that that me and my sister were here. And I was like, who are you? And he was like, and I think it was like Donnie or something. I'm Donnie. I've been talking to you on Facebook. And I was like, and this is when I was still on my Facebook. And I was like, I don't think so, bro. And he was like, no, you've been talking to my sister. And I was like, no, I know I ain't been talking to your sister, bro. Like, I know for a fact that, like, not in a way that I should know who she is.
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Not that
Not
you're on
the
a
way-
first name
yeah,
basis
yeah,
where,
yeah,
hey, it's Donnie.
yeah.
You're like, yeah.
so I was like, I was like, no, I don't think so. And he pulls up his phone and he shows me the messages.
Sure.
And it's like the real Big SMO 01. And I was like, oh, that's not me. That's a fake page. And this dude falls apart right in front of me.
Oh,
He's
geez.
like, what? And I was like, that's a fake page, bro. That's not really me. And he was like, I was like, why? His sister had been sending, I think she had already sent like $900 to this guy. And she was at the show. They were in a U-Haul with all her stuff. She was expecting to come to the show, and I guess this fake page had told her that I was going to propose to her. Her and her brother, come on up. I got y'all at the door, and I'm going to propose, and just, like, you can move in with me. She had all of her stuff in a U-Haul. I saw all the texts. Like, once I got her inside, oh man. You want to talk about the strangest situation ever. And she had been talking to this guy, and I said, once I met her, and I was like, oh no, honey. She was a truck driver. She was real sweet, right? But she was a much older lady. And she brought me a trucker shirt, like my husband trucker shirt type thing. Yeah. So that
What's the Alan Jackson song? I'm married and I don't even know my name or whatever. That's he was ready to go.
happened. So, and I feel really bad for her because she lost money.
Sure.
And like I had to
Sure.
put her in touch with authority. And like she had a way to contact the guy. We called him and he's like, clearly not me. Hello? I'm like, who is this? This a Big SMO. I'm like, no.
This a big
This is not a Big SMO. I was like, no. And then he was like, he instantly went into like, I'll kill you. And the club owner was standing there whenever, like I had security, the club owner, my whole band, we were all in a circle, like with this lady, and she's like crying, and like everybody's like, and then there's this like, I'll kill you. And the club owner was like, that's it, show's canceled. We're not having, and I was like, no. He was like, that was a threat, clearly by somebody who sounds threatening. And I was like, no, bro, you cannot do that.
Right,
So,
right.
real close to messing up a great sold out event. Luckily, the authorities came and they said we don't have anything to worry about. They would take care of it. Party went on. Poor girl, lady, older lady. Poor, what a bad situation. And you know what? And it happened to me. Jim Brewer's crew.
Came full circle on you,
That's
didn't
It's
it?
always the same.
Man.
Is this a Big SMO?
That's hilarious.
And that's when you know it's a no-go, man. It's a
Look,
no-go.
I will say that I feel real bad for that lady.
I feel
Okay,
like I feel
My,
terrible.
my heartstrings are
But
broken.
we also were
Like,
sitting
all of
here
her
on the
stuff.
receiving end of the story.
Yes.
In the moment, you got to be like, girl, come on. Like,
Why
think,
didn't her brother?
like, somebody had to clue her in.
Somebody.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now. If somebody walks up to me and says, "You know who I am, right?"
Right.
No, I don't.
No.
If that's me,
That's the walk away.
I am gonna turn and look at my wife and go, "We made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just look at her and say,
Yeah.
babe,
We are there."
you
That's
just
it.
go ahead
Yeah.
and get whatever you
This
want.
this is as good as
We're
it gets.
there.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
that's
but-
outstanding.
it's black card living out from here.
The best I've had so far, so in my little media career that we've gotten so far, the best I've had was I was at the Shoney's Buffet in Pigeon Forge, and a man about the size of Derry was staring at me from across the restaurant.
I want to eat you.
I didn't even notice him. And my wife comes up to me. I got my two youngest boys with us. We're at a baseball tournament in Pigeon Forge. And
So you're in like $1,500 for the weekend.
yes. and I'm getting my sausage links and pancakes from the buffet. And my wife comes up and goes, "Hey, this is weird, but the bigger fella over there in the corner keeps staring at you." And I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, I'm a strange looking fella. It's all right,
He's admiring the beard.
Admiring the beard.
yeah, something, And so she goes back to the table, and I finish fixing my plate, and I'm about halfway to my table, and he pops up out of that table, and he comes over and he goes, "Hey, are you Charlie?" Yes, but why?
Because you're the biggest celebrity he's ever met. That's
And,
at that
and
moment.
he said, and he said, you own Single Tree Barbecue, and don't you got a podcast too, right? And I went, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "Man, I just want to tell you, I love what you're doing. Just keep doing it. It's great." And I go back to the table and I sit down. And my wife goes, "Well, what did he want?" And I said, just a fan. He just recognized me from the restaurant and the show.
Yeah.
And and she goes, "Really?"
I can see her doing
Yeah.
that though.
That's
She's
it.
like not.
Let me tell you, just from a long lot of work, that's the best reward.
Oh, it's great.
That's the best. That's
Yeah.
better than if you ever get a chance to make a lot of money, like that's real cool. It's like getting to a finish line sometimes, even though it never ends. But like those are the moments. Today at Walmart, lady stops me. She's just like, "Hey, just want you to know that you've changed my life. Since I've started following your lifestyle, I've lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
And I've got another 80 to go, but I am feeling better than I ever have." And like that's it. That's the reward right there. There's no check that's going to come in the mail.
Right,
There's no
right.
deal that's going to come across the table. There's no like limo that's going to pull up that's going to beat those moments right there.
It's incredible. Look, and that's one of the where I was going with the next kind of segment of our show is back when I first met you, you were a little bit heavier than you are now, and you've lost a little bit of weight. So that journey started for you 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'd say 10 years ago, right before my heart surgery.
So multiple part question, but was it the weight that caused you to have the heart surgery?
It was the lifestyle.
Okay.
The weight was just a byproduct of the lifestyle.
I got it.
Side
So
effect.
from those days, so we're talking, mid 2015-ish, right? So at that point you have heart surgery. Is that when you come out of the hospital and you go, "You know what? I'm overweight, I'm unhealthy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, probably shouldn't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Let's fix it."
I made
Right.
a deal with my surgeon,
Okay.
and he said that he's like, "I'm not going to do your surgery unless you do these things." And he said, "Most people will sit here and lie to my face and tell me that they'll do them. And then I'll see them in here another 4 to 6 years for another one of these surgeries." He said, "The only way to keep you from being back in here is to do what I say." And I was like, cool. I don't ever want to come back. This hurt like hell.
Because
So
I'm just doing the math here. You're not even 40 yet then.
at that point,
Right.
I'm 39.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 39 years old.
Gosh.
Quadruple bypass.
Oh, my.
4 blocked arteries. 3 of them 85% blocked. 1 of them 100% blocked.
And that was all from, was that all from early 20s to
That
late
was
30s?
from age of 10 to
So it's
35.
more how you grew up
oh,
and
absolutely.
just a entire lifestyle of
My
from the beginning.
domestication is how I became unhealthy. Like how I was raised was how I became unhealthy because I never changed. I just stayed the same way I was since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as they allowed me to make my own grilled cheese and chicken noodle soup, it was over. You know, there's no
Get
rules.
that man a hot skillet.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And it was encouraged. Like my parents worked, so it was like, well, make sure you. And once they were like, well, hell, he's a good cook. You know, he's good at this, and we don't think he's going to burn the house down. Then it
Right.
was like, let him go, let him do it,
Make what you want.
and then it's no
Yeah.
rules.
Right.
So like, you know, where some people like when I say grilled cheese, chicken noodle soup, like you don't understand. This isn't a normal grilled cheese. This is like a 5-layer grilled cheese with like 14 slices of cheese and a half a stick of butter. This is not just a can of soup. This is a can of soup plus a can of whole
Smo,
milk.
you just instantaneously took me back to 12 years old.
I know, right?
And I got this whole smile that just came up, this whole and warmth that came over my right side.
And Miracle Whip on that, and then and so if you do the math today, the me that knew what I was making back then, if I do the math on 10 pieces of white enriched flour bread, the 14 slices of cheese, the half a stick of butter, the can of chicken noodle soup, the can of whole milk, the other 4 slices of cheese that went into the soup, the Parmesan cheese that went on top of everything, and then the Miracle Whip. That was just lunch.
And that's a day's worth of calories.
That's like 3 days.
Wow.
And like a month worth of saturated fats.
Wow.
So, you know, and then it was like, you know, growing up, I was always the big kid. And when I played sports and when we would win or lose, they'd take us to like Pizza Inn in Shelbyville back when we had a Pizza Inn. And then
Pizza
the real game
man.
started. It was like, how many slices of pizza can John eat?
Yeah.
You know, and like my whole team was like, I think I got like 32 slices, but like at the age of like 12, 13, because it was a buffet.
That's almost 4 pizzas.
It's a buffet.
Gosh.
Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Nobody
but
cares.
No, nobody cared.
And
I'm
well,
impressed.
And that's the problem. Nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody said, hey, no, stop. They
Right.
were like, let's see how many he can do. And the coach, they're like in on it. They're like, I bet 5 he can get through.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
There's no telling what adult shit was going on
Yeah,
the side,
right.
whatever. But like,
There were
you
some
know,
wagers going on in
That's
that room.
right.
I remember a lot, like my whole life being the fat guy who people counted on me to be the fat guy. You know, like that's something that like you almost become that character in life because you have to be, because you're stuck in that suit. You know what I'm saying? Like
So at your heaviest, how big were you?
400.
And you're not super tall.
I was 6'2". I've shrunk.
You've shrunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
You shrink when you get older.
Well, you're not that old.
You're not
man.
that old. You're only 4 years older than I am.
49.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ain't that
no,
old,
don't
man.
throw us in that category yet,
Yeah.
homie. Like that easy
No, I mean,
now.
next year I'll be
Look,
50. Well, like,
I honestly thought I was older than you. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm 44 now. I have gained a lot of weight, and I am fat. And me and Derry both are working on that. We got another month or so before we have to settle a debt. I'm trying to earn some money.
I
And get
understand.
Did we
healthy
have
at
a
the same
financial
time.
wager on it?
I don't know if we did or not, but I'm going to make something up. So
Just FYI, I know where I've been the last week and a half. Like, you better bring your A game.
I'm bringing it.
Okay.
I'm excited to
So-
see the outcome.
Me too. So, 400 pounds, 6 foot tall, heart surgery at 39,
Yeah.
right? So you leave that hospital.
Surgeon told me what I can't do.
Yep.
No red meat, no pork, no fried food, no soda, no alcohol.
So, I mean, it was cold turkey. Boom.
5
done.
things. You can't have this before you come in here for 10 days. So stop all that, because I had like a 12-day period when I showed up at the hospital and I was on tour. I pull up to the Mayo Clinic in a tour bus, hop out like, hey, run this test real quick. And then they're like, yeah, you can't leave. And I was like, well, I got a show to do tomorrow. They're like, no, tour's canceled. You have to have open heart surgery. And I was like, whoa, what? Wow. Everything changed. Whole life changed right then. And, you know, I got kids and I'm like, well, I don't want to die. So like, what do we do? And they're like, well, we're going to have to take your heart out and take all this out. And he's like, don't worry, because I'm going to use these arteries that hang behind your breastplate that are basically like spare parts. So I'm not going to pull a vein from your leg or from your arm to fix these. And he was like, if you do what I say, you could live longer than you were going to live. I'm going to fix you like that. So he had my attention.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. I was like, there's no alcoholic beverage that I've ever had that can go up against what this man just said.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, tell me more. And he was like, this is what you have to stop. And I was like, deal, promise you, done. And then I stuck with it, you know, and had the surgery. It was hard, man. To cold turkey, red meat, fried food.
Yeah.
You know, pork and sodas and
I
alcohol.
didn't have to have heart surgery,
Right.
but I had a gallbladder that I had to have removed, and I had to cut out red meat and pork and all the fatty foods and alcohol.
That's when you
and all
realize how dependent you've become on, and it's really not even the food; it's the convenience of the food.
Very much so.
Because it's easier to find a hamburger or a chicken sandwich, anything, rather than to find something healthy that hasn't been tainted with the same terrible ingredients that are in these other foods. So, you know, good luck finding a salad that doesn't have egg, cheese, and dairy on it, you know, because of the dressing and oil. Like, don't even get me started. My life really changed. So, like, yes, those changes for 5 years, for 5 years. So from 2015 to 2000, those changes. I dropped 100 pounds. So I went from 400 to 300.
Are you exercising, or this is
At
strictly
that
just food?
time, that was more or less just dietary.
Okay.
Some exercising. Touring is that.
Well, sure. Yes.
90-minute show is a
not taking away from that at all.
heck of cardio.
Right.
But not a gym.
Right.
Not at all. So then in 2020, and I was eating red meat again. I had went back to eating venison because I love to hunt.
Yeah.
And I don't kill anything that I don't eat. So, you know, now I'm eating. And I justified it saying, it's venison. I was just lying to myself because it's still red meat and it doesn't matter. But in 2020, I went on a duck hunt with these guys, and it was my year to bring home the duck that we killed to cook for myself. So I come home from this duck hunt, and my wife, she's like, yeah, I'm not eating that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she'll eat anything. You know, she spent a lot of time in Mexico. Like, she'll eat anything. She's like, yeah, while you were gone, I watched this documentary. And I was like, okay. She's like, I'm going to try this plant-based diet. And I'm just like, what? Like, you're talking to me in more foreign language than the Spanish you speak to me when you're mad at me. Now I really am not understanding. So, like, this is the old Smo and my wife, this is the woman that I love, is telling me, she was like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I was like, okay, documentary, pull it up, let me watch it. And I sit there and I watch this documentary, and instantly everything inside of me changed.
Wow.
I said, I'm gonna do it too. If this is true, and I want to find out, because the things that they're talking about, even though I have changed the things that my doctor had asked of me for my heart surgery, I still was not satisfied with the quality of the life that I had. So I was willing to change more, because I was still taking acid reflux medication. Controlled my life. Acid reflux, if anybody suffers with it, whoo, man, I don't miss having it. I was still taking blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, baby aspirin. I I still had the Sunday through Saturday morning and night pill thing
box, yeah.
that I had to everywhere I went, I had to take it and all this stuff. And I was tired of this life. And statins, man, they make you feel terrible. Like these medications, the side effects, and you don't know because you already feel bad. And you take this medicine to try to not feel bad from this thing, but then it creates you feeling bad from the medicine. So it's like, it's just all bad, you know? So I was like tired of that, and I really just wanted to like feel something new, and I felt my age was coming on, and I don't want to get old, and I want to get old in age, but not old in the way I feel.
Right.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. I gave all the deer meat to my best friend. I gave the ducks to my best friend. We cleaned out the cabinet. We cleaned out the refrigerator. We went bare on everything. And then we went to the grocery store and we shopped plant-based. And for the first year, we used things like the Impossible meat and the Gardein chicken nuggets and fish sticks and stuff like that to wean us off of the real stuff,
right,
and to like just tricking our mind. And we knew it wasn't that, but hey, it tastes like it. Then I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, what's in this? You know?
Yeah.
And then we find out that all we're eating is junk.
Right.
It's more junk than the food we were having before.
Than eating
Right.
actual red meat.
Right.
And we had actually gained some weight. So we were eating vegan junk food and we got a little more unhealthy. So my wife she's a queen of research. She's like, we have to go whole food, plant-based. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, we can't eat none of the fake stuff no more. And first of all, have you ever quit eating? Do you like cheese?
Oh yeah, I
like
love
cheese?
cheese.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to stop eating cheese?
It's amazing to me what cheese is found in, like just as
Everything.
an ingredient or as a part of something.
Everywhere.
Yeah. It's
have you
crazy.
Ever, but have you ever just said, you know what? I'm going to not eat cheese for a month.
No.
Never. Have you ever wondered? Well, if you've never done it, you probably never wondered, but wonder why?
From what I understand, and tell me if I'm wrong, but in most dairy, there's a protein called casein. And casein, when you eat casein, your body turns it into a dopamine, which actually means that you become addicted to cheese.
Which is
And
why
I learned this about 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Every night when I get home, I try to cut out dessert. Like I've tried to cut them out, and I'm trying to get back to where I was 4 years ago before I started this whole entrepreneur gig,
Right.
which is a whole nother conversation. But,
Yeah.
and I've gained about 45 pounds, right? Which is way too much for my 5'7" frame. But long story short, I started researching milk because one of our mutual friends, Whitehead, and I had a conversation at the restaurant about how dairy milk is not good for you.
correct.
And then so I started digging in, and I found out that casein protein, your body turns that into it's like
the same way that
snorting
opiates.
coke.
It's like opiates is how your brain receives it.
There's only so many receptors for it to
Yes.
say it's this or that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't. When your brain, when you're eating cheese, your brain doesn't say, "Oh, that's cheese." It says, "Oh, that's."
It doesn't say, "Oh, that's protein."
No, that's
It's like-
opiates.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's opiates. We like that. More cheese, please." So
Yeah.
that's why.
Here's what. So I've been doing a more heavy protein diet, but I will still, as long as it's a hard cheese, not a soft cheese, I'll still sprinkle it on there. And it's never once crossed my mind because I'm just thinking it's got a good flavor. It kind of changes it up from this or that,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to eat my cheese when I
Now
go home tonight.
now you understand why. Here's another thing that no one really thinks about is the gluten.
Yeah.
How much gluten we consume. And then on top of that, and these are all things that I remove from my diet.
Okay.
I eat zero gluten.
Are you vegan now?
I'm completely vegan. I have
Okay.
been since January 10th, 2020.
Okay.
And so whole food, plant-based, which means I don't even eat the processed foods anymore.
If it grew, you ate it.
I'll eat it.
Okay.
But I'll take what grew and I'll turn it into something.
Well, sure.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like I'm real creative with it. And once I learned that you can make brownies out of black beans, I knew that the possibilities were endless. I was like, wait a minute, I can make cookie dough out
Right,
of chickpeas?
right.
Like, what are you talking about? So once I educated myself on that, it became a lot easier. But one of the main things that changed my life, and so like after going plant-based and then after going to whole food plant-based, another 100 pounds.
Just like that.
Right off. Gluten and oil took the other 30 pounds that I couldn't get off and got off. So oil. You want to talk about cheese being in everything?
I've been down the oil rabbit hole. I'm well aware where you're going with that.
It is terrible, and it's in everything.
Yes. You mentioned something pre-show, and it was in this vein. And I want to say this with some sensitivity, but you said you just got to know what you're addicted to. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say it like that is back when he and I made this whole wager, my wife and I were having a pretty serious conversation. Now, she's a fairly petite little lady, and like she does her thing. She gained 5 pounds. She got worried. She's like, oh, what am I going to? I was like, easy, sis. Easy. Like, it's fine, you know. But like, so she's had some people in her life coming up through the years that have struggled with addiction. Mm-hmm. And I made the comment something to the effect of, you know, and sometimes that's kind of how I feel. And she saw that as the opening. She's like, that's exactly what it is. She said, you just don't do drugs, narcotics. You don't struggle with alcohol. Yours is food.
Yeah.
I have like about broken down tears with that.
Yeah.
But she and I have not had that conversation since. And then pre-show, you sat here and said, you just got to know what your addiction is.
Of course.
And I have been trying to fight that off. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Because, I can handle my food.
That's cognitive dissonance that's happening.
And so it's, it's been a little bit weird for me it's been a realistic moment for me to hear you speak about the way you have. And I mean, for it to come off that easily, I got within 28, 32, somewhere around 30 pounds of losing 100 pounds.
Okay.
Got to a point, was feeling good, and I quit everything. And
what made you quit?
Life stresses.
Yeah.
And house flooded that we were renting. Wound up buying a house, going through things with kids who were teenagers, going into college, going into graduation, all this stuff, and just I let life overtake me, and I didn't keep it in check.
Right.
And
that happens.
And it became this thing. And so right around Christmas, New Year, he and I were having this conversation, and it's just been heavy on my heart. So when you came in, when he told me, hey, we're going to have SMO in, I was like, my first thought was like, this is going to be wild. Because he's talked about y'all hanging out some, and I know a little bit of your story, but then we're sitting here and it turns to this health thing. And I've probably got to go home and face some demons. I know I do, like for me personally, and just be able to confront those.
The good thing is you don't have to face them alone. Sounds
Correct.
like you got a fantastic wife.
Oh, she's incredible.
You got a great friend.
Yep.
Now you got me on your team.
Right.
So like you could hit me up. I'll make sure you have my number. You can hit me up anytime. I'll that's my goal now. This is my mission. This is my wife's father is a preacher.
Okay.
This is my ministry.
Right. I got you.
It's like this is, like he's saving afterlives.
Right.
I'm trying to save them while they're still here before they have to get to him. You know what I'm saying? So I want your quality of life to be impeccable. I want it to be the most joyous that it can be. And you're going to get that with health.
Right.
And you're right. It is addiction.
Yeah.
And it's okay because we are all addicted to something. Most of us are addicted to a lot of something.
Right. More than one.
The fact that you are only struggling with food as an addiction is that's a great way to be, because there's a lot of people that are struggling with food, alcohol, drugs, pornography, a lot of stuff. Like they're gambling. Like gambling is an addiction. I can't, and that's why I say the music for me is like gambling, because I'm addicted to it. I can't stop with the music. Because I'm like, man, let's make another song and a video and throw it out there and see what, and we're like, now we're crapped out. Roll another one.
Go do another one. That's right.
So to me, it's like, it's just know that the things that, like working out for me is now addictive.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I get directly out of bed, in my underwear, put my tennis shoes on, go into my gym in my house, and I run 5 miles on the elliptical machine.
That's awesome.
While I watch the news.
I was, speaking of the gym, I was trying to talk myself out of going tonight. And I was like, no, I told her, I said, we got 2 shows tonight. We're doing this and that, whatever. And I was like, I don't know. I said, I want to go. She goes, go after the show. And I was like, but she goes, shorts are already in the car. She'd put shorts in the car. And I was, you tricky little woman. So all I got to do is change shorts.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
going to
great.
the gym on the way
And
home. So
reimagine the gym. Like
I love the gym once I get into it.
But there's something that keeps us from making the gym as fun as the bar.
Yeah.
Or as the club.
Yeah.
So mentally, I had to tell myself that going to the gym is like going to the club.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna get dressed up, I'm gonna put on my gym clothes.
Right.
So I'm gonna put on my club clothes.
Right.
I'm gonna go in there. I got music in my and I control that. Like not only am I at the club, but I'm the DJ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got my drink.
Mm-hmm.
I got my drink. Don't have to worry about buying drinks. So I know I'm not gonna spend money. I got a giant thing of lime water.
Right.
That I'm drinking. So, and then I just go in there and then I'm moving. I'm moving on the elliptical machine. I'm grooving to my music. I'm on the stair climber. I'm working through my problems.
Right.
I'm thinking about my future. I'm strategically moving chess pieces in my mind while at the same time I'm firing all this energy and like that's where the real dopamine comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the real high is.
Right.
You know, we're out here chasing these artificial highs and these artificial feel goods. And we have the ability to do it even without a gym. I mean, if we all just got on the floor and did push-ups until we passed out, we would feel so good.
I would get to about 6. I did upper body the other day, and I would die right now.
But like that's the real, you know what those push-ups when you do them, like they feel good.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find things that make you feel that good. And when we do find things that mimic that good feeling, we become dependent on them and addicted to them.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of these food problems that we're dealing with, we're not even aware that they're putting them in there. And that's the real problem. Like you said, cheese is in so many things.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, whenever I had to quit eating cheese, grown man, Church Street, Kroger, real tears. When my wife looked me in my eyes and held me and
You
said,
can't get the cheese.
honey, you can't have this anymore. It has cheese in it. And I mean, like, I had temper tantrums. I would walk around Kroger and be like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
This has got cheese in it. Like my favorite seasoning, the salad supreme that my mom always put in every noodle pasta that she,
Right.
like any kind of pasta salad.
It's got the dried cheese.
Got
in it.
cheese.
Yeah, it's got dried cheese in it. And notice that it's not in a refrigerator.
Right.
So I'm just like, this dried cheese is just sitting on this shelf,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Same with Parmesan. So anyway, like, and I hate for it to all be about health, but like, I think it's the hot topic that most people need to hear about rather than what they might
Right.
want to hear about.
Right.
I'm open for questions about anything else, but like, this is where my heart is. This is where like I know that I can make a difference. I've spent years entertaining people, and now I'm trying to like really save people.
Well, you're still on a mission of doing that and you've recently started a food truck too, right?
Absolutely. So Smolicious is the new food truck, and it is it's my lifestyle. I don't sell anything on there that I can't eat. So
Okay.
it's whole food, plant-based, gluten-free, oil-free menu, top to bottom. We do soups, salads, smoothies, and specialty sweets.
So, and in the first year, this is the second. Is this the second year you've been open?
coming up. Yeah, we grand
Okay.
opening on April 22nd in Shelbyville, Tennessee, 401 North Cannon Boulevard.
So now we're sponsored by Toast, which is our primary technology partner. We use all of their equipment and all of our stuff. So I'm super excited about this side of it because we started our business out of a food truck.
Okay.
And then have worked into and gotten lucky and,
Brick and mortar?
into the brick and mortar side of it too now. So you spent the first year ish in Shelbyville, right? Hometown. How'd that go?
It went great. Like everybody's super excited in that town about anything that I do. That's my hometown. I've never let them down.
Yep.
On whatever I've got going on, whether it was me doing shows in town, me shooting music videos in town.
You mean you did a show at the bowling alley?
Yeah. I did show at the bowling alley. I used to perform during the Christmas parade.
I remember that.
And like that
remember
was like
that.
a big thing. Like everybody would come out like, is Smo doing the Christmas parade this year? And I would do that song Ghetto Christmas all the way through the Christmas parade.
That's
The first year,
outstanding.
and then we wound up changing it to like working, and then we started doing set lists. And no, I've always done stuff in my hometown, and they've been behind me. Like shout out to Shelbyville, because without my hometown, I would have never made it anywhere outside of there.
I love it.
But their love and everything encouraged me to do more, and because of that, you know, like we're happy to have a business in Shelbyville. We'll be servicing Shelbyville as well, but we're also going to bring it over here to Rutherford County and do some work here in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Co-op has
Yep.
invited us to come and set up there. So we've already got a date on the books for being at Co-op. And I'm just excited to spread this menu to a bigger area where people are more open. You know,
Yeah, for
Shelbyville,
sure.
I had to force some people to try some things.
Yeah. Yep.
Murfreesboro, they're a little bit more open. It's incredible the difference in the things that you can
Just a couple
get
of miles.
a couple of miles
Yeah.
away. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's great.
It's really, it's sad almost, because I don't even grocery shop in Shelbyville because they don't have a lot of the things that I need. I have to come
Yeah.
here to Murfreesboro and go to Sprouts, and even the Kroger here has a whole different supply of things that Kroger and
If you go
Shelbyville.
to one of
Yeah.
them that's been updated,
They're nice.
It's a whole new selection.
Yeah,
in
they're
there.
Well,
nice.
if people want to, are you doing private events with the truck?
I am. This year we're
Okay.
going to do private events. So anything that you want to get in touch with me, just smolicious.com
Okay.
or the real Big Smo. And you can always just email us, wewantsmo@gmail.com.
I love it. I love it. So if
We want
anybody
smoke.
wants to
I
book
love
the
it.
truck, hit him up.
Yeah.
Find it, go
Yeah.
get it. I can tell you that I am going to be there pretty soon because I absolutely love trying new things and
Well,
new foods. And
here's the thing.
supporting all of our peoples.
We encourage people to come and eat with us, but we share all of our recipes on our website for free.
That's
So
outstanding.
our main goal is to teach people how to do this for themselves.
That's
So-
awesome.
Well, and you brought us some sauce today
Yeah,
too.
So this is the old sauce. This is the old meat mud, which we're now bringing back out, and it's now just called mud. So I unfortunately cannot eat that sauce. It is vegan and gluten free, but it is extremely heavy with brown sugar.
Okay.
But it is divine.
So it's a barbecue sauce.
It's a barbecue sauce. It is a sweet, spicy, tangy, all three in one.
Well, you hit that right on the head because I love me some good barbecue sauce.
You're going to really enjoy that.
Are you going to bottle that?
We have in the past. I had Captain Rodney out in
Yep.
Lewisburg.
Yep.
He was my manufacturer for a few years whenever I was doing this. When I had the brick and mortar in Bell Buckle.
Yep.
The Big SMO's Country Store. And this was one of our main items that we sold out of there was the barbecue sauce. And he used to do my jarring, but I think he closed.
I think so.
So we're now looking for a new company to work with to manufacture it for us. But as of right now, I have a commissary kitchen on my property because of the food trailer.
Yep.
So acting under the Freedom Food Act of 2022, you're able to. I mean, I don't even have to have the commissary kitchen for that. I could just make it in my home kitchen. But I do have the commissary kitchen that we're manufacturing this out of right now, just
Awesome.
as promotional.
Yeah.
And sharing, get the word back out.
Well, all fair. We can discuss. I have a guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a guy.
I figured that you would, and I'd love to talk to him
For sure. I love it.
We've got some great people. Yellow Wolf is a huge fan of the sauce. He's wanting to get involved with it. I've got an artist out of Oklahoma named Hugh Glass who does dirt road rap. He's getting behind it. Jelly Roll's a big fan of it too. So I don't.
Oh, jelly.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Y'all,
being a problem.
in the health factor. He's been doing great.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
He
his
was on
progress.
Bussin' with the Boys, and he had a quote today. I saw. He goes, "Look, his testosterone was in double digits," and he said that the doctor didn't even believe him. And he goes, "Listen, your estrogen's too high, your testosterone's too low. And he goes, look, as your titty numbers get better, your pecker numbers are going to get a lot better. And I was like, oh my God.
Fellas, let me
Good way to put it.
let me give you some facts.
Yeah.
When you lose 225 pounds,
I can only imagine.
you really gain a lot.
Yeah.
You gain a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and who doesn't want to gain a lot?
Right. Exactly.
That was one of the things in that documentary that they did a test. And let me tell you, that documentary was called The Game Changer.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. I would encourage you to watch it, not to push you to become vegan.
Sure.
But to just understand a lot of the health benefits of some of the things that we talk about.
No, it's great.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
Me and my wife been talking about it a lot over the last 6 months. So
Yeah.
that's outstanding.
I think gluten and oil is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like I stopped eating the meats and the cheese and stuff because I was an addict. I ate 90 eggs a month just for breakfast. That's an addict. So
That's a lot.
That's
3
a
egg
lot.
omelet every day, man.
Every day.
Derry, you got a good Friday feel good for us?
I do. You know, it hit me. It's been amazing how our Friday Feel Goods here recently have tied right into the show. And I'm about to halfway get emotional about it. Maya Angelou is one of my favorite, just the way she approached life. She had a quote that said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you do know better, do better. Bro. And it is absolutely simple. You do as good as you can until you know better, and then do better. Y'all know what to do. Find somebody you know, tell them you love them.
Yeah.
Man, that's outstanding.
When you know better, you do better.
That's it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
so just do
Smo,
better.
man, I can't tell you thank you enough for coming to hang out with
Thank
us.
y'all so much.
This has been an absolute blast. we love having just authentic, true people on our show and having a good time. So look, you guys know what to do. If you want to get involved and help Smo out, check his stuff out. Do it. You know how to get a hold of him. If you want to get involved with the show, want to be a guest, please feel free to reach out to me. You can get me at charlie@singletreebbq.com, or you can call me at 615-307-0120. And until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Y'all be good.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant.